Alright, so we should now in fact be live. YouTube is struggling a lot with just getting my stream on, so for some reason we might still not be live. Or we're still not live. What the fuck? $1 million corporation and they can't even get the live stream on. Okay, now we're live. Yeah. So hello to the stream. We're back again at the Vulkan backend of the instant messenger. So let's actually check out what the Vulkan backend can do. So we can create a window, we can create a swap chain, a frame buffer, and a frame loop. And we can actually like get something to show up on the screen. Yeah, which is just a color for now. So the thing is, we definitely will need to implement, like, really implement the buffer first, right? There is also a thing called create pipeline, which will be pretty fun, I guess. Do we even have? I think we don't have any pipeline stuff yet in Vulkan. Yeah, not really. So I think for that, God bless Vulkan, yeah. Let me get the chat back. Okay. So for that, let me actually quickly go to CoRender. CoRender is a rendering engine that I wrote in Vulkan, which is kind of a good starting point to getting all of the Vulkan boilerplate up and running. So create raster pipeline. All right, so that's basically doing all of this. Okay. So essentially what we'll need is the vert mod. Where do we need that is the question. Already here, okay. So I think what we do in the OpenGL thing, let's look at renderer. I somehow ended up writing SPURV library in C. What the? Like, what do you mean by that? Like a SPURV compiler or just like... Because that sounds a little crazy. So set pipeline, I think, let's see how we create the pipeline again. Like that. All right, so that's good. That's actually great because we have no kind of separate way to creating shaders than just this. So yeah, this should actually be pretty translatable. So I think we'll actually start creating a pipeline because creating a pipeline sounds a little bit more of a start, like a little bit more like a starting point than doing the buffer creation, because for the buffer creation we'll probably need like a ring buffer. I need to work with SPURV in my engine, and as of right now I have 20k lines of code generated. Like in the entire engine, or like for the SPURV thing. Okay, create shader model. Okay, that's kind of nice. Thank you. That's kind of nice. Vulkan, thank you. So we might even, yeah, we might even start with that function. That's already also good, but let's have something like create shader module. It's taking in self, and so it's taking itself, it's taking in a file path, and it's returning us a module. So for the library, so what's the purpose of the library exactly? Like, is it a SPURV compiler or is it something like shader C? So yeah. Util read file. Okay, that's not really what we want. We will need something like a shader source, which is a string, and then we do a anyhow result of vk shader module. All right, so we create the create info as always. Hope stream doesn't shut down with cargo run like it did once. Kinda want to generate Uber shaders. Uber shaders. But I was going to make it versatile. Yeah, like what? Can you quickly explain in one sentence? Is the shader library like? Can I compare it to shader C, or is it like a entire GLSLC compiler or something like that? Okay, let's have a create info is equal to vk shader module create info. Like that. Code size and p code. Oh god, do I have to wait? P code is a okay, but that sounds easy. Bro, my thing is too loud. Yeah. More like spur v2s. The SpurV2 fix provides an API and commands for processing SpurV shader modules. The project includes an assembler, binary module parser, disassembler, validator, and optimizer for SpurV. So you're telling me you implemented that? That's insane. C++, okay. Yeah, like not exactly that, but something like that. That's great. That's insane, yeah. Can I do... I forgot again how to do that. Convert string to... what do you need again? Hello? To const u32 rust. Want to convert a string... Bro. To byte array rust. As bytes. But I don't think so. Hey there, friend. Was inspired... what inspired the name of the messenger? Yeah, it's like I came up with it like on the spot, kind of. I don't really know like a specific thing that inspired that, but yeah. Maybe we can try something like shader source. Maybe then dot. There's an associated function from. I think you want. Expected raw pointer. Okay, is there something like as pointer? As pointer. Found raw pointer const u8. Const u32. Wait, it's expecting a const u32? Wait, like why? That doesn't even really make sense, right? I mean, can I say as const u32? Should be able to, yeah. Alright. Weird. By the way, the messenger repo is in the description, so if ever anyone interested. Okay, file size. File size is probably just a string size, like, right? So let's say len. Alright, so and then we just create the shader module. So vk, probably something like logical device is needed, yeah. So let's say self.logicalDevice.create shader module with the create info and probably none, yeah. Call to unsafe function. Okay, so unsafe, let module. Let me actually make the thing louder again, because it's a little bit too quiet. Something like this. Alright, that's the module. I'm guessing there is probably a result returned. You're gonna do your own messaging protocol or use XMPP. I think I'm going to use my like make my own message protocol. I didn't really do any like too much of research for the protocol part of this application yet, because I'm trying to figure out the UI still. But I think when it comes to it, then we'll use something that is like the least bloat option there is. And I think the least bloat option is always doing something pretty much from scratch. So yeah, we'll see. Can I just do that? Okay. So this looks okay, right? So maybe just have something like a leading space there. Right. So let's see, create shader module. Yeah, I think it's just here. All right. Create raster pipelines. So the thing is, we will definitely only use raster pipelines. So create pipeline, and by the way, I think in like do we have the option to even... Yeah, we have that option. Yeah. Okay, so a pipeline is just a... So what is a pipeline? Yeah, it's just vertex shader, fragment shader, and the vertex layouts. So that's basically it. So create pipeline. What does it take in? Mute self and desk. Alright. So create pipeline. Do you think Rust for Vulkan is better than C or C++? No, I don't think so. I think like probably the same, but I think C and C++ are maybe even better for Vulkan specifically, because you basically are forced to use unsafe everywhere, so there is no like real benefit from Rust here, as I can see it. Yeah. So let's have a vert module is equal to self.create shader module with the desk dot vertex shows source and the frag module. Fragment source. Yeah. The good old mdoula. So let's have module. And yeah, okay. Shader stages. Let me just copy that over and just basically incrementally convert that to Rust. So let's have something like shader stages. Can I do something like that, and then vk pipeline shader stage create info 2 is equal to, and then this, like something like that. So yeah, guys, by the way, I said it, I already said it a lot of times in the different streams, but I'm using Rust since like 4 or 5 days. So yeah, so I'm just learning the language and I'm just figuring out everything. So that's why I'll make clumsy errors like that. Yeah. Right. So I don't know. Can we just say something like VK pipeline shader create info like this, and then like again, and then just do default 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 default. Is that something that Rust is capable of? Let's find out. Seems like it. Okay. So the first stage will be a VK shader stage flags vertex. Yeah. Okay. P name. Can I say something like main dot toString dot as pointer? I think that's kind of the way you should do that, but I have no idea. So yeah. What is even happening? Bro, how can I explain that? We're basically implementing pipelines in Vulkan, so I think I don't have the capacity to explain it in any like different non-technical way. Okay, so let's say vert module and frag module. Different way, okay. And in here, I think we have advantage in Rust here as pointer. So yeah, as pointer like this, right? It's like unnecessarily complicated, I think, but yeah. By the way, you can pass VK shader module create info into pnext of VK pipeline shader create info. Is this not what I'm already doing? Pipeline, wait. Pipeline shader? Right. So you can pass VK shader module create. Okay, but why would I do that? Okay. Like, isn't it... Wait, it's pnext. Okay, is that then just going to do this for me? Like the creating of the shader? Or what, like, what is it for? Or is it just for like bookkeeping? Get a simpler yes, is it? I don't really know how. You can use push next, by the way. Alright. This. Hi, how are you, bro? I'm good. Thank you for asking. So let's say as const u8. Actually, I8, right? Expected. Okay, I8. By the way, guys, my channel, I don't know if you know, but my channel was terminated like for like 16 days. So the channel just got removed off of YouTube because YouTube said that my channel is bro, the music is way too loud. I cannot concentrate. Okay, so they basically said that my channel is violating the community guidelines on terrorism, and they said this for like 2 times already, and that's why all of my music has been gone. But now they basically figured out how to restore my music for some reason, and all of my playlists are here again, so I can just normally hear music, which is cool. So that's definitely cool. Yeah, YouTube is like the worst platform ever. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this then. Bro, why so many states, man? Does main.toString.produce null terminated string? I think so. But it could be that it doesn't. Could be that it doesn't. Let's actually check that out. As pointer on string Rust mode manage. Is built-in string node terminated? As pointer. Let me go to final. Wait, what is S? S is just a string. S string. Okay, I think this is what we can do. Yeah. So let's kind of say main stir is equal to, and then like main stirs. Like Rust is really bad at this. Like, can I do this at least? Okay, I can do this. And then we say main stir dot stir. Or just main stir. And then let's see, final. Okay, this will do a const char. So this will already do a const. Or will it? No. Alright, so we have to call dot as pointer on here. Can I not? Final. Dot iter dot map. So yeah, we map the elements of enabled extension. So we map C strings basically. So we should be able to call as pointer on them. So this is a C string, yeah. So where's the problem then? Is this a good thing? I think this might be the easiest thing. Can I just yeah, do that? I think I should be able to just do that. Any high level languages you use TypeScript. Yeah. Okay, so this might work. This should work. We'll see. So those are the shader stages. Yeah. Assembly state. That assembly state is equal to vk pipeline input assembly state create info. That's a good one. So defaults. Topology. Primitive topology. Triangle list. All right. like what I think they should be correct. This is correct, this is correct, this is correct, and this is also correct. I think it just means the bruh. It was literally Python. It was talking about the indentation level. That's crazy. Or was it? Or was it just a bug? I don't know. Okay. Right, so that's the assembly state. Raster state. Alright. Raster states. Polygon mode. Polygon mode. Fill. Call mode. Call mode is VK. Call mode flag is none. Front face clockwise. Okay. Is line width something we actually need to specify? Like, what is that going to be used for? Because, yeah, that sounds like really, really weird. But let's do it anyway. Alright. MSA state. One sample. Multi-sample state. Okay, whatever you say. They weren't even brave enough to say MSIA instead of multi-sample. In fact, okay, so rasterization samples is VK sample count flags type 1. I'm still waiting for a programming language that lets us do things like type 1. You know? I don't know. Does such a language exist? Today we got electricity back, yippee, but I hope it will not be out pro your... That's literally insane. Yeah, but I'm happy for you. Okay. Blend is equal to VK pipeline color blend attachment state. Blend enable VK false. I think this was something I basically disabled for optimization, so let's enable it. Blend factor, VK, blend factor. Do you know where I'm living right now? I think you told me you were living in like the southeastern part of Ukraine, right? But I might be mistaken. Color blend factor 1 minus source alpha. Get it. Forget it. It's pretty loud sound here. Yeah, Russian half. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty insane. Pretty insane living circumstances. Yeah.
I'm the best programmer on earth.
Bro, that's a banger.
Isn't it obvious? So I have an ISO creation tool. I have a compiler. Basically, I'm the best programmer on earth chosen by God. And I was endowed with divine intellect.
Yeah. Totally.
I'm the best programmer on earth, as evident by divine intellect.
The humiliation doesn't really hurt.
Ask.
Nothing hurts anymore.
How do I even...
When my bird was looking at my computer monitor, I thought, whoa, that bird has no idea what he's looking at. And yet, what does the bird do? Does he panic? No, he can't really panic. He just does the best he can. Is he able to live in a world where he's so ignorant? Well, he doesn't really have a choice. Yeah, he can kind of live. Usually the bird's okay, even though he doesn't understand the world. You're that bird looking at the monitor, and you're thinking to yourself,
I guess they make
can
funk
figure
of
this
anything
out.
these
you
days.
know, maybe you have some bird ideas. Maybe that's the best you can do.
Okay. Definitely a banger. Can I... How do I 0xf in Rust? Can I just say 0xf? 0xf. Expected semicolon. What? Nice. No, you can't. Okay. You probably can, but yeah, it's just like not a thing that this thing supports. So what's the anime in the Firefox background? I have no idea. It's just a random girl I found. Yeah. I think I might be able to do this. Color component flags. Yeah. Nice. All right. Let's see. Blend states. Didn't I already just fucking do that? Bro. Roski. Blend state is equal to vk pipeline color blend state create info. All right. Default. And then you probably want a p next. P attachments. And attachment counts. P attachment. Right, okay, I think what we should have is something like blend attachments. Just do something like this. And then do blend attachments dot as pointer. Can I also just do this? Yeah, nice. Okay. And attachment count, do you also need that? Probably you will. Yeah, 1. All right. Dynamic states. Dynamic states. Where did we have that, dude? Ah. Ah, okay. Yeah, seems easy. Dynamic states is equal to vk dynamic state viewport and scissor. Yeah, okay. So let's say, just was wondering whether or not we should add create info at the end of the name of the variables that are create infos, but yeah, I think it's kind of unnecessary. Pipeline dynamic state create info. P dynamic states is dynamic states dot as pointer. Dynamic state count is 2. And what else? Nothing. So viewport state and depth states. Bro, OpenGL is just like bro. OpenGL is like create pipeline. Literally just this. Bro, it's 5 lines of code. And if there are still like people telling you they are crack developers because they implemented their own OpenGL engine, like okay, let's viewport states. Lol. STD pointer null should work. Should it? I guess. Scissor count. 1. Scissors. Pointer null. And that's not even the hardest thing in Vulkan. Yeah, it's like the least hard thing if you think about synchronization, like as an example. What font are you using? Lilacs nerd font. Look, look. I want to show you. Commodore, I think you write it like this. You don't? Okay. Oh, you write Commodore? Commodore 64. Commodore. Okay. Commodore 64. Commodore 64. Also doesn't work. Fuck. Find Commodore 64. Can I just find that? Commodore. Bro, I installed the font and I swear. Fonts. I did, like for real. TTF. Bro. Dude, can I just... Commission... Bro, what? Did I dream that? Yeah, just forget about it. Forget about it, I think. It was a cool font. I am better than all of you. Alright, alright. Imagine layout / synchronization. Yeah. Yeah, imagine, bro, imagine. Let's actually quickly close those and this. FC list. Bro. I love you. Like, thank you. Okay, so this should work. So let's say Lilacs nerd font. Bro. Like, I don't really feel like using the font because, like, what the fuck? I'm already getting a headache. But I had 1 or 2 days where I actually used this font to code. Yeah. I think it's becomes usable as soon as you do something like 5 in here, or 8 even. Why is it like what? What is even what the fuck? Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah. I hear you whimper when you said that. Don't be intimidated. What the fuck are you even talking about, bro? Both Temple OS font, yeah. Is that Harry Davis font? It's just a Commodore 64 font, so I think it might actually be like literally. Maybe he also used the Commodore 64 font. I don't know. Right. Okay. Dev state. Hello. VK pipeline. Dev stencil state create info. Yeah. Thank you. We don't want depth testing. We don't want depth writing, but this is like, I think that we actually don't want. Yeah. Okay. Compare op less depth bounds just enable false. Stencil test enable false. Right. Okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Back in 87, I did this in my sleep. Yeah. Back in 87, like I remember back in 87 coding Vulkan pipelines. Yeah, this was like the good old times, am I right, guys? Okay, okay, nice. That's actually the last state we need. It's How old are you? 24. Okay. So in 87, right? Okay. Pipeline info. Can you please, like, bro? It's okay. I'm kind of happy that we actually have to just do that and not worry about device local memory transfer in a synchronous manner, which we'll do in a bit, but yeah. So not yet. Graphics, pipeline create info. Stage count 2. Stages. How many stages do we have? We have 2, but we have the shader stages. Probably as pointer. But maybe we can also not do that because it infers. This could be. Then, man, I think I need to step it up. Bro. Okay. Vertex input state. Vertex input state. Hello. Did we not create the vertex? No, we did not create the vertex state, am I right? What? Is the vertex input state like the... I think the vertex input state might be... Don't remember. Is it just the vertex layout, basically? Yeah. I wonder where they get created. So raster pipeline init. Info. Oh, raster pipeline. Instance raster pipeline. Add binding this. Ah, we do it here. Okay. Okay. Add vertex input attribute. Okay. Great. So we'll need that. Yeah. So let's implement it. Thank you for just being a simple array. Thank you for me 4 months ago. Create pipeline layout. Okay, okay. So we'll basically need to kind of, I think we might even do this in this same function for now. Amount of culture we meet again. Yeah. Thank you all, man of culture, am I right? Push constant range. Okay. See a raster pipeline push constant is scale and offset. What? Why? Okay. Okay. Right. Do we just... Yeah, okay, we just passed the raw array. So I think... we might have something like a function that just returns us a... Bro, no. What the fuck? Okay, thank you. Thank you for not crashing my window manager. White people culture. Okay. VK vertex input attribute description. Okay. So let's say get vertex attribute vertex input attribute desk. It's okay, it's a cool name, right? Am I right, guys? And it's just going to take in a God's chosen editor. What are these, bro? It's Advem. It's Advem. Okay, VK vertex. Can I? Anyhow, results. VK vertex input attributes. Thick description, yeah, okay. And we'll take in and then like I don't even know. So I think it's called something like a vertex buffer layout. Is it okay? It's taken stride, which stride does look kind of applicable, but it doesn't. So yeah, it just doesn't. Because apparently where do we specify the stride on Vulkan? Maybe batch element size. Element stride. Do we never have to like specify stride? Insane. Bro. Okay. So we'll first need to kind of get this. So yeah, let's do that. Let's say location is equal to, and then I think it was vertex buffer, row. What do we call that? Vertex buffer layout? Vertex attribute. Okay. Vertex attribute. Vertex attribute. Attrib dot location let binding is attrib dot bind. No binding. Think we'll need that. But wait, is like location actually binding? Or is location the shader location? Right, okay, so the okay, nice. Okay, cool. But why the fuck do we specify the binding here? Right, so let's then, I think what we'll do is remove that. This reminds me of those ancient Terry Davis. Why? Like, I don't even use my Commodore 64 font, so... So let's have a U32 binding. Binding. Okay, so how many format conversions do we have to make? It's NeoVim with this font. Right, so let's figure out how the fuck we will do that. But I think it's not even that hard because in my code here I already have some examples, right? So let's say let's say format to VK format. Or we're cool today and we'll say something like FM2E to VK FMT. And we'll do a FMT, which is a buffer format, vertex format. Okay, let's be a little bit more cool and say vertex format to VK vertex format. I think it's going to be okay. And I don't really feel like, should we? What window manager is that? My guess would be Sway, but I'm not sure. It's Ragnar. So custom window manager, yeah. So we're resulting a, like, what is the type of that in like the ash bindings? Let's see. Let's desk is equal to BK vertex input attribute description. So format is a format. How cool is that? Not that format exactly. Can I just say ash bk format? Thank you. Like that. And then we're essentially matching fmt. And let's say case. Let's say vertex format. Hello? Sir, can you please work? Expected as. What? Thank you. Float 32, and then float 32 is essentially. I have no idea what float 32 is going to be. Yeah. Case. Yeah. The good old C times, am I right? Format. Wait, format, right? So I'm guessing S float. I'm guessing R32 S float. Am I right? Okay, great. Very descriptive. I'm guessing that's correct, and then we do float x2 R16 G6. Why G? Is it like an RGB thing, or what's the naming behind that? Does anybody know? Do we return a result in OpenGL with our format conversions? Where are they? Here somewhere? We don't. So let's not, right? But what do we do on default cases? We just do nothing? Okay, because there are none. So let's say it's not going to be a result because, yeah. Okay, so I'm guessing this will be, yeah, like this, RGB. Okay, weird, but okay. 4 is RGBA. If you're not RGBA, yeah, thank you. The same thing for uint. So let's say float. I think we might be able to just say sfloat is uint. Sfloat is uint. Yeah. unorm 8x4. 8x4. Why do we even have that type, man? 8x4. Is that okay. unorm 8x4 is an unset. Can you just be an unset byte? Why not? Okay, I'm guessing R8 uint, right? Should be true. All right, but right. So let's say it's equal to self.vertex format to vk vertex format. Essentially, at offset is something we just have to specify ourselves. No, because we already have it. Offset attribute.offset, right? All right. And then the description will just take in location, binding, format, offset. And we'll say, okay, desk. Great. Is that the first tab? That's the first tab, okay. Yeah, okay. So that's that. Get vertex attribute desk. Now add binding. Okay. So Right. We'll need a something like a let bindings is going to be a vacuum of, I have no idea how you think like that, maybe. VK vertex inputs binding description. Can I please? Yeah, I think I can. And then we do for each specified layout thing. But wait, so I think the naming is a little bit confusing. Let me see. Because the naming is vertex buffer layout, right? But this is kind of a vertex buffer binding. So let's maybe just say binding layout, because then it makes sense from both perspectives, like Vulkan and OpenGL. Probably here. Hello? This doesn't exist anymore, man. Why is it not erroring? Vertex buffer binding. So vertex buffer layout doesn't exist anymore, but so binding that, right? Let's just say vertex buffer layouts. Binding layouts. Let me actually quickly do this, because then you can see the chat. Wait, why you're using OpenGL as well as Vulkan? Is this like a portability thing? Yes. Portability thing. Yeah. So vertex buffer. Interesting. For binding in, and then it's still called layouts, right? So I think we'll go full bindings in here. Bindings. So let's say vert layouts, vert bindings. All right, that would be hard because OpenGL is way different with all the global state law. Yeah. So the encapsulating, basically. So the thing is, what I kind of want is this. So I stated it here: implemented by backend specific renderers and used by higher level rendering code to create resources, upload data, bind state, and submit draw calls. So that's exactly like what we need. So basically, Vulkan OpenGL are just used to do the bare metal communication to the device. And that's like in the lowest level way possible, so that we can just have a real renderer which does all of that. And then it's just going to funnel the calls into OpenGL and Vulkan respectively. But yeah, obviously it's very different. Yeah. What the fuck? Am I going crazy? Someone is shooting out here. Okay. Okay. I'm already seeing the CIA people. What theme are you using? How can I show that? It's just Groovebox, but the background of Groovebox, so the Groovebox, right? But I changed the background of Groovebox to be more dark. Bro, so bro, no, I swear, like, I heard something. Yeah, I might be crazy, okay? Whatever. So let's say desk.word bindings. And so okay. So for each binding, we want kind of to generate something like this. Essentially, right? So let's do bindings.push and then vk vertex input binding description. It's neovim. I think you said neovim, yes. What the fuck is even up with the chat eye? It's insane. Okay, let's say default, obviously. But the binding needs to be binding.binding. The stride needs to be binding.stride. Input rate needs to be binding.step mode. Okay, so let's have a function get vertex sick name, thank you. Like what name do you mean? Like the name Faith of the client or my name? Probably of the client, right? So get vertex input rate from like what does the different name? From step mode. And then we'll have a vertex step mode. So step mode. Theme man. Bro. Maybe I need to sleep a little bit more than usual. Might be the case. So yeah, I think with those conversion functions, we just want to like return the raw type. So let's say something like vertex input rate. Bro, use an iterator there. Bro, okay, so the editor is envim. Should I put like yeah, that's thank you, Alacrity, for being. Should I do that? I think I should. So let's match the shit. So match the step mode and say it's in behind you? No. Is it? It is. No. I cannot even let me turn on my second monitor. Okay, I admit the camera was probably too large. So like this. Congrats on 15k subscribers. Thank you, man. It's really, really cool, yeah. Remember me, Coco? Yes, I remember you, Sun Decoder. Like to build a vec instead of creating one, then pushing into it, you can just do bindings.iter into iter.map. Let's do that, yeah. Thank you, man. Peak Rust learning experience. Thank you, thank you. Actually, pretty like positive backseating in the chat. No, but for real, thank you. I think it's only those. So VK vertex input rate. So let's say vertex input rate. Vertex. Well, instance will be instance. Bro, what's your favorite laptop for programming? ThinkPad X270. What is stopping you from switching to a different terminal emulator from Alacrity? I use it too, but its only downside, it doesn't support images. Why would you want to support images in a terminal? I don't really know why. But Alacrity is the least worst option out there for me, I think. Into OpenGL because of you for many months now. Any advice for moving to Vulkan? What OpenGL and Vulkan project would you recommend? For moving to Vulkan, I think you need a lot of mental stability first. Like, actually. No, but I don't know. Just move into it. Just look at it. Look at the Vulkan docs and just do it. Right. And for a project, I don't know. You can do anything, right? You can do anything. Maybe a game, but a game is kind of very large scope. Like, depending on the game, of course, but I think it's kind of a large scope. Yeah. So let's say self.step mode. Here, that. Okay, let's do the that's a great project. Do that. Let's do the thing. So bindings. Wait, bindings. So do you mean? So you probably mean vertex bindings, right? So desk.vertex bindings and then we do that bindings is equal to into iter dot map bind, and then we'll say self.get this, not this. We'll need a function for that. Or will we? Yeah. Let's make a quick function from that, right? What's the name of this? Get vertex input binding description. So let's say get a vertex input binding desk from. Okay, just that. Yeah, it's okay. Self, and it's going to take in a bind vertex. I think a vertex. That. And return a VK vertex binding description. Should have snake out, bro. So layout, or let's say binding, because then it fits. Get vertex binding desk from bind. Then what did you say? Bind.collect. That looks fire. Thank you, man. What's the extension name you're using for showing inline errors? It's basically an NVChad. I just have .config envim in Lua plugins. No, configs, LSP config. I just have Rust analyzer and it just works. It's just that. Are you writing SFU also for your conferencing? I have no idea what SFU is, but it seems like a protocol related thing for the messenger later. We'll have to look into that. I definitely need to do more research on that part of the messenger. But for now, we're deep into UI territory, so yeah. Turning 13. Yeah, so I'm turning 13 in the next month. I am just finishing my rocket project. So basically, we created a rocket. It's like in this novel programming language that we made that's like running on a different like architecture. It's like basically we created a chip that is like 5 times faster than ARM, and it's like a custom programming language for that. I wrote it in the last like 3 months of being 12. Now I'm turning 13 and the rocket is basically going to be finished, right? Okay, turning 13 in a few months. I've already tried Vulkan one time and it was cool. Got onto VK Surface, then lost interest. I just see you doing all these cool projects in Vulkan. Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't say Vulkan is very cool or something, but you can't, yeah, definitely try it. You can even make it shorter by .map. Yo. Like that? Just like that, basically, right? But wait. So, but where do I get... I can just probably do this. Can I not just pass the function like that? Remove the bind. What? Like that, right? I'm 4 and happily working at CERN. Yeah, same. Fucking nan, man. Rust is so hard. Yeah, for real. Started coding at 11 with Java. 20 months later, it just became a little bit of work. C++ and OpenGL now. What is your opinion on switching from C++ to Rust for graphic stuff? I think from C++ I would actually switch to Rust, but to be honest, my opinion is that you should write everything in C. I'm writing this in Rust, but it's just an experiment, right? So it's just like, because I wanted to do something different. But if you're serious about a project, then write it in C, man. It's just the truth. You're sorry, there's the self there. It was a normal function, it should work. Like providing just a function name to the map. Can I do self? This seems to work. You will spam a lot of unsafe using core graphics. Yeah, that's exactly like the thing. Like for Vulkan and stuff, you have to basically do unsave everywhere, so there's no real reason in doing it in Rust, to be honest, right? Okay, so those are the bindings. So we have the bindings now. We will also need the attributes. So the attributes is just dusk.vert bindings. And now the thing is, it's a little bit harder. Is it not real time? Is the chat like delayed a lot? Okay, so essentially, let's first do this with vec_new. We will do for binding in bindings. And then essentially we want to say for attrib in binding. It is okay, yeah. I don't know. In binding. Wait. Like, what is even bindings? Do I do this? It's this binding, okay. So I don't really mean that. I mean desk.word bindings. Binding dot atters. Yeah. So let's call it attr. What's the hardest project you have ever built, bro? I think co-render. It's not ready, but just the entire compute kernels have been very challenging. But the project is not ready, so I'm not really going to go into it too much. But yeah, I think this is kind of hard. Do you have like Discord? I have kind of a Discord, but it's not active and I don't really want to use it, so no. Bye. If you're reading this, I'm gone to scroll YouTube shorts. I will stay C++, keep working on my Unity project and my OpenGL game engine. But maybe once I get accustomed on Windows, I will start Vulkan. Search. Okay, nice. Very cool, man. So have a great day and enjoy the shorts, right? Alright, it's okay, yeah. Eventually, we will have a group in this instant messenger and everyone is going to just download it and we'll chat about it. And it's going to be secure and it's not going to steal our data, right? So yeah. Right, so we want to basically say something like, yeah, attributes, and then we do attributes dot push and then self dot get vertex attribute description from the attribute at the binding dot binding. This is probably, we can also do it like this in some way. So maybe we should try, should we? Okay, so desk.vertex bindings dot into iter dot map, but then kind of so the collect there need to know the type of collection, so you'd have to specify the type by either using let bindings, vec, or collect, but if you like to return it after. It can deduce the type from the return type, so you don't have to use it. Pretty neat. Yeah. I think we'll just do this like that, because it's also less verbose to read. Yeah. So let's just have something like pipeline handle. Just to get the error away. Bro, what the fuck is even? R curly. So I made a curly braces mistake. $420. Yo. We cannot get a 6.9, unfortunately. Why is the curly brace missing? Bro, are you serious? Can you just tell me where it is? This file, this is like... Is it doing hide and seek with me? This file contains an unclosed delimiter. Thank you, man. Great debugging. What's the best backend language in your opinion? Like in web development, or what kind of backend do you mean? Well, where's the curly brace thing? Please tell me, can I cargo run? Unclosed delimiter. Somewhere in between 111 and 1000. Oh. Okay, maybe that is unclosed. Please, is it just that? Oh my god, it is. Thank you. create texture. Since when did I remove that? Takes 2 arguments. You might have meant to use an associated function to build this type. No. Can I say new? Like, how do I do this? Like that? Because, like, they do it like that. They can just do that. Or maybe 0BF. No. Yeah, I found it. Yes, web development backend language. I'm not really into web development too much, but I think PHP is kind of a good option. Yeah, but don't take my word on that. So empty, but what is like empty? Like empty is not even, it's returning 0. Is there like the opposite of empty? You can't, it's only public and they're create, you can't build it like that. Right, but can I just, like I need to, you know? Do that, I guess. But the color right mask needs to be not 0, but 0xf. So can I not just use 0xf? So what I'm looking at, I think, is like something like flags implementation or something. Because this is, I think this is deriving flags. Like std flags or some shit. They are. I can see it. Clone from? Can I just say from 0xf? Yeah. Finally. Nice. VK color component flags are... Yeah. I think this is the better way. I know you could do it like this, but the method collect exists for struct, but it is not certified. I think this is what you meant, right? The error, like... Do I fix it when I say vk vk vertex input binding description? Ah, just vec with that, okay. Yeah. It's still not working. What if I just say bind self.that? Consider specifying the generic argument. Consider changing this to be mutable. Okay, yeah. It just needs to know if it's a vec or a hash map. Okay, but how do I handle this? Like, where do I put the thing? Do you prefer AI code or manually written code? This is like a very rhetorical question, I think. How do I not make it move? You can clone the value and consume it, but this might not be your desired behavior. It's giving you an error right now because you used this.vertex bindings underneath it. If you want to do that, you just use iter. Can I just not specify the type? And that's probably expecting that kind of thing. So into iter moves the value, iter gives you an iterator over references. Okay, yeah, I think I want that. Why do I need clone here? Go to the definition of that type and of that get and change it to a reference instead of an unowned type if you can. Ah, okay. Is it just that? Alright. Nice. Nice. Okay, so this should now work. Am I right? And we will... By the way, sorry. We will probably just be able to do this. No? Why? Like, why? What, can it not deduce the type from that? Alright. So this is, yeah, this is looking kind of okay. So now that we have all of that shit, we can actually create the pipeline. Should be able to do that, yeah. Specify. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. True. All right. VK das vertex input state create info. So let's copy those. And do a vertex binding description count is just Bindings. Yeah, bindings. Bindings, yeah. Not long. Hicham, do you know if I can just do as pointer to convert it correctly to a pointer? Because it doesn't seem to error. Okay, so what are this all about? Result? You can just use and, I guess. Yeah? Yeah, I think I just use as pointer because I think it worked. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, alright. So now we can finally create the pipeline. Welcome, it's nobody. What's up? I swear it worked in my code, lol. Okay. Let's stage count, stages. I kind of am having a little bit of a deja vu. Well, why can't I say stages? P stages. Shader stages and vertex. P vertex input state. Now we're talking vertex input state. Nice. P input assembly state is assembly state. P color blend state. P multi-sample state. Yeah, that's kind of P dynamic state, right? And P rasterization state is going to be the raster state. And then the viewport state is going to be the viewport state. The depth depth sensor state is the depth state. Layout is pipeline layout. What? Okay, we have to create a layout. Did you encounter any device loss? Yes. A lot. Mainly because I had like a shader that wrote past a buffer and stuff like that, yeah. Why your channel got demonetized for 3 years? That's a good question. Yeah. So, because YouTube had very strong opinions about my channel, I can say. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I think as pointer should fix that. MSAA state. Okay, so we just had the wrong one. So this is the blend state. I just clicked here for the anime girl and the thumbnail. It's also very relatable, right? No such field. No such field. Okay. Viewport state. P viewport state, right? All right. Right, so we need to create the layouts. So let's swipe that. Rage bait. Oh yeah. VK push constant range. Offset of 0, stage flags of. By the way, is the music too loud? Can't even see. Whatever. Maybe you can tell me, guys. So the stage flag is going to be shader, stage flags, vertex. What the fuck? This looks weird. Okay, makes sense. The rage baiting thumb is really cute. Thank you, man. Right. How do we do size off in Rust? Can we do that? It returns the size of a type in bytes. Looks promising, right? So essentially, let's have a struct push constant, which just will have a. It will have a scale and offset. So let's have scale. What are the most common causes of VK device lost in this path? I hope nothing, right? So like in this, like I didn't get any device lost errors yet. Bro, where's my music running? Here. Yeah, that's more like it. Let me see if you can hear. Bro, you literally can't hear the music, right? I don't know. Is this good? Music volume? Why are you making Messenger app? Kind of because I don't want to use Discord. Yeah. Alright, so this is our push constant. So I have 84 errors in this code, by the way. Okay, so size of push constant. Alright, so, and then we just have a let layout is equal to, or like pipeline layout is equal to, you'll host and fund it yourself. Yeah, sure. Pipeline layout, create info. So I'm not getting any IntelliSense, so might as well remove it. And that. And that. Why do you expect 0 arguments for that? That's insane. We do size of push constant like this. GPU memory thing. I mostly did I use VK like VMA, right? So Vulkan memory allocator For Vulkan memory allocation, yeah. Can I just say push constant? Thank.
Are you worthy to be the man who makes the temple?
Dude, Rust, get size of struct in bytes. Such weird syntax, man. Yeah. Thank you, Hicham. Do you have GitHub profile? Yeah, here. So pipeline create info. So pipeline layout is going to be default and push constant range count is going to be 1 and p push constant ranges. Let's see. Range as pointer. And let's say pipeline layout. Can't just pass a type into function arguments and call it a day low. Yeah, that's. I'm a C user, that's what I can say. Right, we still have to create it. Okay. So let's say layout info. I don't know what is happening, but it looks cool. Yeah, man. Thank you, man, for saying that it looks cool. At least. So let's say... Let's increase the font size a bit. Create pipeline layout. Layout info. Did you create RAI wrappers for Vulkan resources? No. Because this is not C++. I don't know if there's RAI in Rust. Maybe there is. So unsafe. Alright, so layout, hello, and render pass. I don't know where do we store the in context of frame loops, so I already did that, right? So frame loop dot what? Current pass. Ah, thank you. Pipeline layouts. Render pass is self the frame loop dot current pass. Can we finally create a pipeline? Bro. So much code for just that single function, right? Did it say pipeline cache? What? Crazy. How do I say no? I think none, right? Is it an option? It's not even an option. What? What are those questions? Like, are you... Sounds like you're a guy LARPing as a software engineer. You know what I mean? Like, it's so vague. Can I not pipeline oh my god, thank you. Create infos, how am I supposed to get that? Why is stage count hard-coded to stew instead of using shape? That's a good comment. Based. So the Ash crate has every Vulkan handle as a type handle, so you get those structs, then wrap a U32 if you want to pass nothing. Sometimes null or empty. How do I get just a pipeline? Just want to get the pipeline, man. So why can't I do this? We won't. It will always stay vertex and fragment shader only. Can I, like, pipeline dot... Is it actually true? Pipeline is not a vector. Okay. So let's say if pipeline nice. If pipeline is empty, we want to anyhow bail. Failed to create graphics pipeline. And then we say okay. Pipeline's at 1. Pipeline's at 0, I mean. Right, okay, so we want to convert, we want to get a handle. So let's go into mod and just have something like struct Vulkan pipeline raw vk pipeline. Basically from OpenGL do the same thing like here. I think you should add an assertion to ensure shader standard is not empty before passing its pointer to Vulkan. I think shader stages is something we create ourselves. Yes, it cannot really be empty. Yeah. Right. So if I didn't make any mistakes, which I did, we will see the correct pipeline being created. So let's have something like tracing info. Created Vulkan graphics pipeline. The create graphics pipeline method returns an error which is vk pipeline result, meaning that if it fails, it also returns the pipelines. Anyways, map error extracts that vk result. Yeah. So it's very weird, but I think it's okay. Right. Alright, so let's try and create the pipeline. But we really cannot do that because create pipeline is not called before create buffer. Hello? Oh, here. I think we could just create a buffers after it. Let's hope it runs, bro, yeah. Let's hope it. So let's go into main and actually basically reconstruct the state that we had. But let's actually make that be 20. So we're rendering this abomination. And let's say the backend is Vulkan. And we should bail on create buffer, but it should say we successfully did the pipeline. So let's say create pipeline. We'll probably not successfully compile the shaders. True, true. I think let's quickly go to co-render and just copy our shaders. Can I, by the way, I think I should be able to dynamically adjust the shader based on the backend, right? Oh, fuck. We have different... So... the instance has rect, color, UV, and params. Maybe I think we should maybe even just go from those shaders. So let's say the quad vertex shader is GLS, like, is it possible to just use Vulkan shader compiler with those shaders? Does anyone know that? Like, because, like, I don't know if, because look, oh, it's actually the same. It looks this, but it looks kind of not the same because of this, right? Okay, let's test. Let's actually test. Yeah. Right. I should compile them to spare V. This is how you do it on Vulkan, true. But let's actually quickly do something like screen size. Is this valid? Is this valid, basically? I don't even know. I mean, we can try it, right? So let's have something like shaders, and we'll have a vert.glsl and a frag.glsl. Mm. Mhm. Yeah. No way. Okay. Yeah, for real. Question is, what? How do I do this? Ah. Right, so and those bindings are separate from any other bindings probably. Nah. We have to use version for 50 just for that. Is like the versioning different for Vulkan GLSL? You should take a look at slang someday. It's what they recommend for Vulkan nowadays. Ah, you mean the shader language slang? Is it like slang from Chronos? Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like it. Alright, so we have our shaders. So we actually need file IO then, right? So how we do file IO and fucking Vulkan? Shader module. Let's have a file path. Let's Bro, they don't even insert new lines? That's insane. Harsh, can you stop backseating me? Thank you. Let's quickly do something like compiled shaders slash revert.glsl. Shading languages as a whole suck, to be honest. Like, why can't we get same stuff we have in CPU land lol? Anyways, that's what they want to achieve with slang. It has interfaces printing with Vulkan. Nice. Yeah, in GLSL you have to use the extension and stuff, right? Compiled shaders, frack. Alright, so let's try that, right? And get a sig. Okay, so I'm guessing it's going to be a 6-7. Let's see. It's actually an unknown field. Okay, okay. Also interesting error. Compilable. What? No. Right, okay. Where is that? Begin frame. Oh, thank you, Mr. OS Error. So, what is the path that it runs from? If quad instance is missing, the compiler is free to reorder or pad fields, which could make the GPU interpret instance data incorrectly. Let's see. No, it's not missing. Not missing. Alright. That's exactly what I do. Six F, yes! Let's go! I was right. I was right, guys. Let's fucking go. Okay, maybe let's actually enable le validation layers. So, create instance. Can I just say enabled layer count? W. 1 and pp enabled layer names. Do I just have to do that? Think so, right? Layer specifier does not exist. I think there was this issue, man. I remember. Where I cannot use validation layers because of some environment variable. Does the same thing also happen here? Let's go into checks. PCL. You have to specify the debug callback. The code is unholy. You can check the examples on Ashcraig. That's where I copied it from. Yes. Maybe we'll just. I don't feel like doing that. You know what I feel like? Going here and just adding print statements until they don't appear anymore. Because that's the real debugging strategy. That's the divine debugging strategy. It's on their GitHub. Yeah, I don't. I've done too much work. I feel like it's too much friction. It's actually very far. Yo, it might be actually here. Which could be anything. Bro, do I actually... Let's make a small break. We'll make a small break. I'll be back in a few minutes and we'll fix that.
Опять говоришь,
Oh. Sorry. Sorry, the audio was muted. Yeah. A little bit of a slip up. But it's already like how many hours? 2 hours, almost 3 hours in, so we don't really care about that. Right, so how do we create descriptor sets? I don't even know how to do that because I never did that in Vulkan. I did that in Vulkan, but I did it in a very, very fast way. Wait, I'm sure I did that. No? I didn't. Hi, Sarina Kagemori. So, this is exactly what we want, binding descriptors. I have absolutely no idea what I'm looking at. No idea. I have absolutely no idea what I'm looking at, but it looks still one learn Rust someday. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's okay, it's fine. Like learning Rust. We should explicitly handle the case where add chips is empty to avoid creating invalid or unexpected vertex inputs. Looks cool, yeah, okay, yeah. So, that's true, but it's like we should do that after it's working, I think. I think we should do it after it's working. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Mr. Vulkan Guide. So VK descriptor set layout binding. We set the binding, we set the descriptor type. We set the stage flags. Bro, I did that 100%. Dude. Okay, but I didn't use it for textures. Not really. I mean, I used it for here. Image 2D. I'm making like a instant messenger, like Signal, WhatsApp and stuff, but from a very low level standpoint. So implementing the text shaping engine, UI engine, rendering engine, networking, the protocol and stuff from scratch. Instead of like using any like bloated JavaScript framework like people do it nowadays. So yeah, that's basically the gist. How did they create global descriptors? Yeah, we'll do it also in Rust, yeah. Oh, sounds cool as hell and also somewhat hard. Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of hard, medium hard. So let's see how we did it. Let's actually see. Don't really need that anymore. So global sets. What? So bind descriptor sets, but they do create descriptor set layouts. Set layout. Ah, okay. So we have a set layout, and all right. What happened to the old channel? What old channel? You mean Podvic? Nothing. Like I'm just streaming here now because this is a better channel. Okay, let's first try to create the global sets thing. Something like that. So we should probably have it before we create the layout. Alright, so let's have a VK, so let's have a texture binding. Sorry for the unrelated question, but have you tried Wayland? I know Ragnar is using X11. Yeah, I have a Wayland compositor, but it's not done yet. Yeah, it's a lot of code because it's all written from scratch, so and I didn't really develop it for a long time. But it's actually kind of far already. Yeah. So texture binding is going to be VK. Oh. It's a tiling compositor. It's a tiling window manager, like the Ragnar window manager is tiling, but the compositor is like in a state where you cannot really say it's floating or tiling, because it's technically floating. You can move windows. It's actually working for most windows already, but it's not specifically floating or tiling. You know what I mean? Yeah. We'll definitely need to work on that, but state of superposition. Yeah, exactly. Okay, can we say uniform texel buffer? What is texel buffer? How hard was it? Build Ragnar. I want to build my own X tiling window manager. It's okay. It's not that hard, especially compared to Wayland. I think I got it. Sounds quite curious, I guess. Yeah, it's curious, definitely. The thing is, the Wayland compositor is not written with WL roots, which makes the whole thing it gives it a dimension where it's literally in a state of superposition until you kind of are very far into the project. I think the code relies heavily on runtime generated vertex layout, but I don't see any validation ensuring shader input location attributes and offsets and binding remain synchronized. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that later, I promise. So how do I... Let's ask a clanker. Combined image sampler, okay. But no, I have this. Can you also use it for... Yes, you must use. Bro, it's even written it in bold. You must use it. Yeah, sorry for the loud volume there. Okay, so... Right, so that's probably the binding. Do you say anything else? Immutable samplers. I think that's probably in the default, right? Only one descriptor represent. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, so what is the image view about? What is the image view about? Right, so we okay, I get it. I get it. I think we should validate does not exceed the for real. We are validating that if it works. Like this is the most premature optimization that I've ever seen. Yeah. Right, so okay, but the layout binding, how do we create that here? Layout binding. Do we first, like, where do we call the allocation function? After that, okay. Right. Okay. So this looks good. So let's have a desk layout info vk descriptor set layout create info p bindings is just going to be texture binding, right? So and binding, okay, let's first have that. You know, Vulkan supports the ray tracing pipeline. When will we get ray traced compositor with global illumination? Not gonna respond to that. Alright, so logical def create dot create descriptor set layout test layout info non layouts. We free the set bindings after that, okay. Interesting. Is that mute self? This is mute self, right? Yeah. Let's say self.desk layout, and the desk layout is just a descriptor set layout. Just a layout, okay, thank you. Yes, you're right, Luigi. You're right, Luigi. I expressed that throughout the streams many times. What is the light features you say? Light features? By the way, how is like Rust determining if something is unsafe? Is it like something that the compiler actually determines, or does the author of the library have to mark it unsafe? Now we definitely will use raw bindings, because that's the entire fun of it, right? Right, where is the code? Where is the fucking code for real? Here. If I can't determine the memory safety of an operations at compile time. Oh, okay. The library marks functions with the unsafe keyword. Right. But couldn't someone that's malicious basically, like, it's very unmalicious, I guess, but just not mark it? I mean, yeah. I think it's not really too bad. Right, so we say that, and then we create a descriptor pool. So do we need a descriptor pool? We need a descriptor pool. I get it. Okay, yeah, that's that. Okay. That's true, yeah. Luigi. So is programming for Wayland so annoying as it seems? As annoying compared to, for example, WinAPI? Bro, yes. I showed my Wayland compositor earlier. Like, I didn't really show it because when I would run it, it would crash my X11 window manager, actually. For some, I don't even know why, but it doesn't even implement an X11 backend, so yeah. So for Wayland, you have to implement DRM handling. You're gonna have to implement lib input. You're gonna implement DMA buff, the entire DMA buff protocol. You're gonna implement, yeah, like, don't. I really recommend to not do it. Like, really. Yeah. God damn, that's serious, yeah. Right, so we specified the sizes and then we create a descriptor pool. So let's pool info vk descriptor pool create info. Can I not default that? Thank you. Flags, can I not say flag 0? I won't, right? But I can say descriptor pool. What do we mean by the program being rusty? Create flags from raw, or just let's say empty, right? Max sets is 1. Pool size count. Call to unsafe function. Hashtag unsafe. Hashtag rusty. Hashtag we love rust. Hashtag borrow checker. Let's just add a comment and say hashtag borrow checker. Just for no reason at all. Alright, Okay. So creating the descriptor pool. Descriptor layout. Whoa, yet another thing. But didn't we already have that? No? So we have to... That's basically the synchronization save thing. For each swap chain image, we have a separate layout handle, essentially. Yeah. Okay. You already had the descriptor set layout. Yeah, the set layout, right? What do you mean? I think we should surface the actual Vulkan error code instead of generic failure message, since pipeline creation errors are often impossible to diagnose without the returned VK result. Like, I'll push the code, right? You can create a pull request. Like, it would be actually amazing. Make a pull request, add all of those, like, very good features that basically make the entire thing usable and stable, and you just implement that. So if you don't have to, obviously, but it would be cool. Like retalk. Well, how do you like Rust? Kind of cool. Kind of cool. But also kind of not cool. Like I think it's cool, but I'm using it in a way where it's not cool. Because like Vulkan and Rust is like, I don't know, it's like psychotic, right? But I think it's cool. Like I can kind of feel that it's cool through the entire uncoolness of using Vulkan. I can kind of sense the coolness of Rust. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, once you implement your abstraction, it will get better. Yeah. Like, for example, the entire UI folder is insanely... Like, I love this folder. It's so cool because it's all based on abstractions. It's not like... It's really based on abstractions, right? So, because the entire platform and graphics is the abstraction layer. And this is like the... Essentially, like... This is like no abstraction, like this is the raw things, and this is the things that build on the abstractions, if you get what I mean. So renderer and text, basically, for now. So there I can see that Rust is kind of a cool language, yeah. All right, so let's... I just do it like this. Because it's more readable like this. And I don't know if it's less performant, like it probably isn't. And I also am creating this only once at startup, so I really don't care. I'm looking for... How dare to not use iterators? I'm so appalled, I think, yeah. English is not my native language, first of all, and second of all, Rust is not my native language, right? The only benefit is that collect knows about many elements there are, so it initializes the vector of the number. So I can just essentially do new. Can I not say with capacity? I did that. Or can I just say new? Just like that, right? Is your nvim use manual configuration? It's nvchat, but I configured the theme to be Docker. I think you might like Odin if you're coming from C and Rust feels like it's doing too much. Yeah, maybe. But I started the project in Rust already, so I'm not really bothering switching language now. So scripter pool. Set layout. Wait, layouts? Layouts is that. Let's call it set layouts. I think this hard coded count could silently average from the actual binding array size and becomes difficult to diagnose during the script layout creation. You mean this? We're like iterating over that, so, and this is also the same. So it should be fine. As I understand. Bro. That doesn't work, then I'll never use Rust again. It's maybe working. I don't think that the thing is telling the truth. What you said somewhere, you told me how to actually use that. Vec with capacity. Nice. As U32 expected. Found. Okay, so as pointer. Let's actually put that away, because I think I can walk on my own now. Does anyone know the reason why Vulkan structs need a type enumerator member variable that's always set to the same value? Okay, good to know. Yeah, I also have that question. So this should be working, as far as I understand. Obviously, we need to abstract that away after it's working, but I just want to actually see this message pop up. So facts. I like Vulkan validation is one of the most satisfying error messages you can get anywhere. Like, do you guys know any better error messages than Vulkan validation layers? This sounds really weird here. I mean, I did it on I like did it, but this was an accident. I wanted to put this here, but for some reason I had that here, so I don't even know why. But yeah, okay. Right. So we don't have the we still don't have the descriptor set, but we have it. Am I right? I mean, we have the binding. Bro. Thanks for fixing that bug. Bro, that's for real, that's insane. Okay, so we use descriptor set 0, but the binding was not declared in p set layouts. P set layouts is set layouts. Descriptor set. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Set layouts, descriptor pool, default. Create a descriptor pool with the pool info where we have pool size count being sizes.len. Pool sizes is that. Max sets is that. I think max sets equal to swapchain.n images assumes one descriptor set per frame. This may become insufficient. Right, but are we not supposed to do that? Because then we have a double buffered set layouts, and we need them to be double buffered. Synchronization. Why? Am I right, guys? think you're trying to use frames in flight. If you allocate multiple resources, it's not necessary for the apps that are not games. Why not? Why not? Like, is Vulkan automatically going to see if your app is a game or not? But do you mean like if the data is not changing, then we don't need it to be multi? I mean, this can be the case. But I don't think this is the error. Like, I first want, like, we can think about our model once we have fixed the validation error. And I don't think that is the validation error. Think the descriptor pool is sized around current assumptions and may break once additional descriptor sets, storage buffers, or storage images are introduced. Yeah, right. Okay, let's... Yeah. So that's not the error. Kind of obviously, right? Yeah, I think it's pretty, there is a pretty big performance benefit because you don't have to idle the GPU, right? So I think that's a pretty massive performance benefit there. I feel like this is... I don't know what kind of error this is, to be honest. Crust. Yeah. What I'm writing is kind of crusty, to be honest. I think... I think I'm gonna end the stream here. Yeah. We'll fix this next time. I need to make a break. I need to get some food in my system and maybe some coffee. But let's still commit that, just because it's essentially worth committing. Essentially that. So Vulkan, so WIP Vulkan pipeline creation. Good stream. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Bro, we already wrote 1,700 lines in Vulkan since like the last 4 streams. So yeah. We'll get it done by the next stream maybe. And then we'll, look at the other tasks on the roadmap, right? Alright guys, thank you for watching.